All right, we are live. Welcome, anyone out there to the Reseller Roundtable. It's me by myself at the moment. It's Friday afternoon, almost 4 o'clock here in Central Time Zone. Just figure I'd take a little time, see if anybody wants to stop by and chat reselling. Anybody got any questions and answers? We can chat. Just got my 15 listings up. Just got 15 listings up right here. Got 5 more in the draft bank. Just see behind me, I got some shoes prepped. All right, Landshark picker. Here, let me get the comments open. It says, yeah, being by yourself is not a problem unless you talk to yourself. Well, I've obviously got a problem, but I did learn, Craig, from last week. Live listings were no bueno. I don't think anybody really cared, so I nixed that. Got my listings done ahead of time, so we got the listings up. 15 pairs of shoes listed. It was tough. Like the Mavericks played last night. By the way, Mavs won Game 6, forcing a Game 7 with Phoenix. But anyway, it was a late night game for me, so I didn't get to bed till late. And there's lots of garage sales. There were a lot of garage sales in my neighborhood, but I also had a pretty good amount of shipping to do. So I did not go garage sale shopping. And this is my question, and I know, and y'all tell me what you think. Garage sales are great, especially if you're an everything seller, because most garage sales people are trying to get rid of stuff more than they're really trying to make money, with some exceptions. And you can find some really good items, often for very cheap. But if you niche down like me, where I just do shoes, it becomes harder if you're just going to garage sales looking for one thing. Now, I have found some amazing shoes in the past, but the volume that I'm looking for, like I'm looking to source, I don't know, probably roughly 150 pairs of shoes per week that will sell for some pretty good profit. So maximizing my time sourcing is really key, and I can do that at thrift stores. And so it's almost like garage sales are, if I'm a shoe reseller, it's almost like they're extra, right? Like dessert. So I'm just curious what's everybody selling out there, and how are you sourcing? So I'm trying to decide if it's worth the time to spend, 3, 4, 5 hours. And ultimately, I think I need to test it. I haven't been garage selling since I've been niched down into just shoes. I know I did it when I was doing clothes and everything, and that was great. Hello, Mrs. Chadwick's House of Style. Glad you could swing by. What's up, Scott? Dumpster diver dad, the man, the myth, the legend. On vacation, right? Like, you're out of town. I know we haven't been doing our podcast, and to be honest, like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of I don't know. I'm kind of burnt out on the podcast. I don't know what the problem is. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm thinking maybe in the morning I go hit some garage sales, but I need to test it out to see if it's a good sourcing option just for shoes. I've actually been trying a couple of other options, I say they're next level. I don't know if they're next level, but in my mind they are, trying to acquire shoes in bulk. And Flipping Goodies Mike, I don't think he's on here. He talks a lot about estate sales. So I've been reaching out to estate sale companies and just let them know, hey, my name is Brian. I run a 6-figure eBay store. I put a link to my store in the email. And I tell them I acquire and sell hundreds of shoes per week. And, if you have extra shoes in bulk, after estate sales, if they build up and you'd like to, maybe we could talk and some type of deal. And I've started doing a couple of those a day. I've only done it for a couple of days. I think I've sent it out to 4 people. Like, 1 no response, 1 was like nope, and then 2 were like yep. So hopefully if I keep doing that, maybe those will pan out. Yep. Scott's on vacation. What you been doing on vacation, Scott? Any sourcing? Now here's the thing, like, and I'm not a CPA, but if you go on vacation and it's out of state and you actually source, keep those receipts. You can actually write that off as a business trip because you're going to source. I've done that when we went to Colorado last summer, and I did that when we went to Big Bend. And actually, I found some good stuff too. So if you can maybe source for a couple of hours, maybe even an hour, like in the morning or whenever, and keep those receipts, maybe find a few things, and allows you to write off the property, not the property, the Airbnb. Man, that's been a long week, and mills and other things. So check with it with your CPA. But Tekken Sports told me about that, and I'd heard it before. Actually, Buffalo Pickers told me about that, and I've began doing that. Mrs. Chadwick says, podcasts in general can wane in interest when the panel keeps discussing the same things over again. Even as a listener of Daily Refinement, I hear them say it too. Nothing wrong with taking a break. Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't know what it is. It's probably just a me thing. Maybe we come back with a podcast. So we're kind of in limbo, and Scott's out there. Scott's in the chat, Triple D. He can talk about it. I don't know. Like, we were going full steam for a while, but it's, I guess, because like I resell so much. Like, even now I'm doing this kind of like at the end of my workday, my nighttime. Like, I want it for me. Like, if I want to watch a basketball game, or go swimming or hang out with the family or whatever, like I'd like to try to keep that sacred. So maybe it's just the time slot, that 7 p.m. Central Time slot. But that's a good point. I would say the benefit of hearing a message consistently, like we talked about this in text group, is it just reminds you of the importance of certain things, and there's an accountability element. But I do tend to agree with what you're saying. What's up, T-Bone? T-Bone in the house. T-Bone sounds pretty good for dinner. Steak, baked potato. So how's everybody's week's going? Anybody find anything good out in the wild? Any good sales? I know for me, shoe sales have been kind of popping. Mrs. Chadwick, I couldn't imagine squeezing into my schedule. Yeah. Like, well, here's the thing. Like, right now, this hour, however long I spend doing this, I could spend listing more shoes, which will make me more money. I think, like, for me, YouTube, like, my channel is small and I'm not even monetized yet. I do have a goal of getting monetized, hopefully by the end of summer. I'm just short of the hours. There's a couple reasons I do YouTube, and a lot of the people that watch me, or I get a lot of beginners, and so I do a lot of how-to tutorials. And so I like helping people. I used to be a teacher, so I try to use that for good. So there's that. I also like to record my journey. And I guess the third part is, like, I would like to see if I could grow something. I know it's hard. Chris, you're talking about Daily Refinement. He's consider him a friend, and he's got a big channel, and like he kind of inspired me to try, but I don't know. Let's see. Sales down since Friday. Yeah, sales have been down for a lot of people. I've been getting that. Oh, hold on. Let's turn that off. Yeah, looking at my sales today, I'm only at 181. I'm at 2434 for the week. I'm down 4.5% month over month. It's kind of weird. Like, Monday, I had a 600. Let's see. So what is today? Friday. So let's go back a week. So last Saturday, I only did 210. Now, last weekend was Mother's Day, so I think that did affect our sales because people weren't shopping as much. Last Sunday, I did 370. Monday was a good day for me. And now this is just eBay. I also sell on Poshmark. Monday was 627. Tuesday, 346. Wednesday, 449. Yesterday, only 250. And as of right now, today, only 181. So sales have definitely been better. And then the other factor for me, like I've only been selling just shoes for about a month. I know my traffic is down. I'm assuming like when you go from listing 30 pieces of clothing per day to 15 shoes per day, I'm sure the eBay algorithm is not happy with me. Um, yeah, Scott's a little burnout. It is tough going week after week. And I guess, Scott, we have big plans, and it's probably really hard to monetize a podcast. So not seeing any fruit for all that hard work, even though we love talking reselling. But yeah, maybe we come back after a break. Who knows? Mrs. Chadwick, well, if you consider this your coffee break, then it's a highly productive break. Yeah. Well, end of the day break. I just finished my listings. I've got shoes prepped behind me. I've got a load of shoes in the washing machine, which I need to make a video on that. Somebody asked me about that. Like with sneakers, primarily sneakers, like I have a process of cleaning. I don't know. Behind me, you can kind of see it. Like I use Goo Gone, Grandma's Cleaner, the magic erasers, and a couple of other things where I will, in a brush, and I will, especially that mesh on sneakers, man, that stuff gets dirty. So I will treat it with the grandmas, put the brush to it, spend about a minute on it, do the bottom soles, erase any markers on there if it came from a thrift store. And then I have a laundry bag, which right back here, there's another one that's the next one to go. It's almost filled up. I'll load up those sneakers. I put them in the front loader washing machine I have. I put it on delicate cold water. You don't want hot water because that there's glue and adhesive in those shoes, and if it gets too hot, that could cause separation. Cold water, gentle cycle, pre-rinse, and what is it? I do extra rinse, pre-wash, cycle, and then I air dry them with a fan. And when they come out, man, they come out a lot cleaner. Especially with sneakers, they have a nice smell. I also have I use this 10-second spray right here, which is really good. It's a disinfectant and deodorizers, and it kills MRSA. So I disinfect the shoes. I do this for all my shoes, dress shoes. The sneakers, I'll wait till they're dry and then I'll hit it with that. But like leather shoes, dress shoes, boots, things of that nature, I'm obviously not going to put those in the washing machine. I'll clean those up differently, and then I'll hit them with a disinfectant. Okay. I don't know why I'm talking so much about shoe cleaning. Craig says, one thing I can suggest about YouTube is work as hard after you get monetized as you do to get yeah. Well, all right. That's a great point. I think that theme is consistency. And this is what I was thinking. This is another thing, Mrs. Chadwick, you were talking about that. Like I've built eBay up pretty well, and the key for that is consistency. Like I've getting listings up 7 days a week, probably for about 3 weeks. And before that, I've got listings up 5 or 6 days a week for over a year. So I've built up consistency where my sales are pretty consistent. And I think if you use that same approach, what Craig is talking about, I think it would bear fruit on YouTube. Like talking to Chris, like there's days right now on YouTube where he'll get more subscribers than he got like in a whole month his first year. So I think they call it the Valley of Disappointment. Gary Keller in The One Thing talks about this, that, when you work really hard, and you could think about this like if you're working out, right? You're running or training and, you work really hard, but you don't see those results. So you stick with it, and you get discouraged and you give up. And there's a tipping point where if you just would have stuck with it, maybe in a few more weeks, a few more months, you would hit that tipping point where it would have seemed like you magically made it, and those results would be really high. So yeah, that's why I said 2022. I'm just going to stick with it and see what happens. And it gives me something different since, I used to teach and coach. So now I'm reselling. So I kind of need a different outlet, maybe a little bit more creativity, even though my videos aren't very super creative, to be honest. Mrs. Chadwick says, I'm moving, so my handling time is maxed out. Goose eggs. Did you put on vacation mode? Where are you moving to? T-Bone says, I'm guessing due to stock market and recession fears. Yeah, I think there's a couple things. You have that. You have summer slowdown. We're approaching mid-May. People are going to be outside a lot more. A lot of people are going on trips. I know in June we're taking a trip down to the coast. Um, so people just aren't online as much and shopping as much. Now, that being said, and I was talking to Kevin, the Thrifting Lounge, yesterday about this. It kind of depends on your niche too. Like right now, if you're selling, like as a shoe reseller, my sandals are popping. My water shoes, my Keen, my hiking boots, some of my sneakers are selling well. My winter boots aren't selling at all. So you got to think about seasonality. If you're a clothing reseller, and I know this, last year I added shorts and swim trunks and more t-shirts into to that summer mix. That will help. So also think about your niche, what you're selling, and then what is actually selling more in the summer, and try to balance out what you're selling. And a lot of it's going to depend on your resale model. Oh, Triple D Scott's got his hat sales are on fire. That is a really good category. I sell some here and there as I find them. Matter of fact, I have a box of them. I just haven't got around to. That's nice, man. What's your best sell recently on a hat? Or is this on Whatnot or on eBay too, on both categories? Yeah, and that's a good topic. We were talking a lot about this on Text Tuesday call. Whatnot versus eBay, pros and cons, and there are definitely some. A shoe cleaning video, yeah, that's in the works. Here's my dilemma. Like I've seen a lot of these shoe cleaning videos. Man, they're so organized, and I'm so messy. Like I need to clean up my work area, make it real presentable, and get it set up. But yeah, I should make a shoe cleaning video, the before and after of the shoe, because it, especially on the sneakers, it is a big difference. And if you're selling a cleaner shoe, that's a better buyer experience for your buyer. They photograph better, which, photography is another big thing. If you take good pictures, it can really make a big difference. You will ask me if I'm completely done with jeans. Why did you stop? I'm still selling jeans because my store's shrunk a little bit. I'm down to 5,700. I would say probably 700 are shoes and 5,000 are still clothes. And every day I'm probably 75% of my sales are still clothes because most of my 90% of my store is still clothing. In jeans, at one point I was nothing but a jean reseller, and I think it is a really good niche. So I would, with me knowing my squirrel brain, I would never say never on jeans. I would say for right now, no. And I want to give shoes a really good shot because I'm loving the well, here was what I was thinking. I was thinking about scaling up, looking at Tech's model and even Chris's model when he was on eBay. And I got up to myself where I was getting 50 listed or drafted per day, and the thoughts of eventually getting help. But I don't know. I saw some of the shoe resellers, Isaiah, LC, Alfredo, Nina, killing it, listing between 15 to 30 pairs of shoes per day. And I was like, well, I can have a little bit more time and just focus on shoes and make as much, if not more, than I'm making now just with shoes. Now, if I wanted to scale to, $1 million in sales, it would be really hard to do with pre-owned shoes. Clothes would be the way to go. So who knows? I want to see where I'm going to be at with shoes, and then I've got the setup. I've still got the photography. I know how to do jeans. I have access to them. Maybe I could bring someone on in the future to do that, to add another category. But for right now, I'm just trying shoes. I don't know if that's a good answer. It could be squirrel brain. But I will say this. I enjoy listing shoes a lot more. That's for sure. And the ASP is higher and the sell-through rate is faster for me. Obviously, it's harder to like you don't really, I don't know anyone that lists more than 30 shoes. Like a full-time shoe reseller is probably between 10 to 30 shoes per day. And you can make really good money. I know LC, I think he's at 25 shoes a day, maybe in the low 20s, and he's at 25K gross per month on eBay. And so I think I'd be pretty comfortable. Like between eBay and Poshmark, I think last month I only did like 14K gross. So I would like to get to 25K, and I think shoes will get me there faster, and then I can evaluate what I want to do. Collectibles, yeah, that's a fun category. I know Alton in our podcast, he does a lot of Funko and some collectibles. Mrs. Chadwick says, no vacation mode. That killed my store last time. I have 30-day handling for all my large items that are packed. I'm moving to Louisiana. Yeah, that's a big move. That's a big move. Yeah, that's just something you're just, I mean, I guess you're just going to factor that in, that long move, changing it to 30-day handling time. Or, a lot of people do use the vacation mode. I don't know. I haven't used it. I haven't been on vacation since they came out with it. I'll probably use it next month when we take our trip, to extend that handling. I've done it the old-fashioned way where I extended handling before, and that works pretty well. What's up, Side Gig? How's it going, bud? Hope you're doing well. Matter of fact, I just heard my washer, so that load of shoes is cleaned. And I think in those bags, those big laundry bags, I get the extra large bags. I can get between 7 to 10 pair in there. And then I'll usually throw my cleaning towels I use while I'm cleaning shoes in there. Kind of balances out the washer and cleans them both at the same time. But yeah, the interesting thing, like jeans are a good niche. Now I would say, and I learned this last year when I was purely jeans and my sales really took a tank. Like jean sales, if they haven't already, they will definitely start to tank right now. And the counter for that is ad shorts. Like I have a lot of shorts, especially men's shorts in my eBay store, and they are definitely selling pretty quickly right now. So like we were talking about earlier, think about your niche and what can you do to counter that possible summer slowdown. And for shoes, I'm not. I will still pick up like winter boots if I can get them really cheap. Like sometimes, if I can go for $1 or $2, like I've picked up Uggs, and yeah, I picked up Uggs. Matter of fact, I sold a pair of Uggs, which I thought was weird to sell them in May. But I would not pick those up at full price right now because sandals, water shoes, things like that are selling. And in the winter, it's going to be the opposite. The sandals are not going to be selling. Your water shoes are not going to be selling, but your winter boots will be moving. So how's everyone else's sales going out there? Scott's on vacation, so he has no sales. T-Bone says his sales are down. And then I also put a question. What's the best and worst thing about reselling? Because it's different. And I guess it depends if you're full-time or part-time, but what are the good and what are the negatives to that? For me, the best thing about reselling is, well, there's a couple things. You are your own boss. There's no potential, like you're uncapped on potential. You can make as much as you're able to. You can give yourself a raise just by working an extra hour, as Tech would say, by listing more items. And I think the bad thing from what I've seen from some resellers is that freedom can get you in trouble. Like, a lot of people aren't big into schedules and consistency, just kind of doing it when you feel like it. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but it's definitely not the most efficient way to do it. And so yeah, so those are kind of my thoughts on the pros and the cons. I'll definitely say these lives are easier when you have someone else live versus having to just talk the whole time. T-Bone says, love the game, been doing it since 2010. The ups and downs can be tough mentally. That's a long time. What's that, 12 years? What's your journey been like? So you're doing collectibles now. Like I haven't done it nearly that long. I guess 2016 I got into it. I dabbled and then kind of got serious around 2019, and then I went full time in 2020. like a lot of people, I was an everything seller for the first several years. I, I had some filters for fish tanks. Bought this aquarium. Actually, I was teaching for the classroom, and the aquarium broke. Plus, the principal said we couldn't put it up on the second floor. It's like a big aquarium, and so I had all these parts that I had no need for. So I was like, oh, what about eBay? I never really sold on eBay. I sold a couple of aquarium filters, and they sold for pretty good money, or I thought was pretty good money. And that just kind of opened the door to, what else can I resell? Then I jumped on YouTube, watched, let me see, probably the first person I watched was Bonafide Hustler down in Austin on his Cheetah Quest. Craigslist Hunter, I enjoyed watching him. Raking Profit. And then I stumbled across Daily Refinement, Chris's channel, and like my nerdy side kind of really related. I mean, and I liked all of them. I think Bonafide Hustler, his videos are interesting, and he has the guides like 30. He has a shoe guide, a bike guide, a generalist guide, handbags, and so I learned a lot from him. And then I would just go to Goodwills and I'd pick up some shoes. I'd go through the electronics, find the VCR. I would go by the bag section. Sometimes find some bags. Look at pretty much everything. At the beginning, I didn't mess with clothes at all. I didn't want no part of clothes. And, because I had a full-time job, I was making pretty good money on the side. Then I was going to garage sales. And from that, I really like shoes. So I bought his shoe guide, and there's some valuable information. I forget what I paid, 29 or 30 bucks for like the PDF, and it really leveled up my game. So I learned a lot from him. And like I said, it was a generalist and made good part-time money while I was teaching, and was able to take family on trips and have extra money. And then I went full-time. Well, before I went full-time, I joined Chris's group, and this was before he was with tech on the Patreon, the Facebook group. And back then we were talking about this on our 24-hour call, how Chris Chris is self-admitted squirrel brain. Like, he has lots of great ideas. You can see he thinks a lot about things. And so our calls back then were about just different ideas. They were really interesting, and one squirrel brain topic to the other. And once joined Tech's group with Chris, then this whole idea of efficiency and niching down, which is very effective, took root. And so I was like, all right, let's do clothes because they're plentiful and they're cheap. And it worked. I made a lot of mistakes using Sellhound, Hammock, hired my own VA, which I'm still paying for that because those listings are horrible. So every day now I fix 10 to 15 of those in the morning. The VAs, their titles were poorly constructed. Item specifics would be wrong. Just really bad. Clothing. Well, clothing, the sell-through rate on clothing, it depends on like what you're comparing it to, but I would say in general it is pretty slow. I think on average it's like an 8% sell-through per month, and that's about what I was seeing. But you can find a lot of $1, $2, $3, $4 items that can sell on average 10 to 30. So you can really multiply your money there. And there's some tips and tricks. And then here's the other thing: as you resell for longer, you get better in your niche. You learn better what to source. And and as I'm looking at my old listings, beyond the mistakes, some of the stuff is like, hey, I would not pick that up and sell that again. Like I'm a better reseller now as far as sourcing. But yeah, I'm all shoes right now. There's Clay. Clay said, hey, just saw your text. Yeah, there's Clay talking about schedules and does his own thing. It's 4:00. Clay just woke up from a nap. That's my buddy Clay. I hope you're feeling good. Hope you watched the Mavs last night, man. Mavs got that victory, blew out blew out the Suns. Game 7 Sunday. Let's go Mavs. We are the underdogs, but we do have the best player in Luka. But yeah, so clothes. How are the collectibles? Like, T-Bone, do you focus on a certain niche within that, or do you like do all collectibles? Yeah, the Warriors are really good. I mean, obviously, when you got Steph Curry, amazing shooter, and you got the Splash Brothers, like, yeah, I think Golden State's coming out of that. They're probably gonna beat Memphis, and then they're gonna take on the winner of our series. Cat took a nap with a cat. That's Clay for you. Yeah, Clay definitely likes his free schedule. Does what he wants when he wants. Um, so that's a possibility. Hey, what's up, Try Flippers? How you doing? If I can click on you, there we go. Coming from San Antonio, I believe, right? If Memphis had Morant, they would be even. Maybe, probably. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Yeah, Clay does. All right, here's interesting, and I guess Clay, you don't mind me saying kind of your business. Clay does a little bit of everything. I taught Clay how to resell back when we were both teachers a couple years ago, and there for a while he was doing a pretty good job with his listings. He's even told me he's got 2 listings up this year. So I don't even know if I'd really consider him a reseller in the traditional sense anymore. He does pick up items that he sources, like at the bins, and he has a couple of local sources where he gets fast cash. Not as much as he'd get for it if he sold it himself, but he gets fast cash, and that is a business model, and that works for him. And I'm trying not to be judgmental. So hey, that's good. Fast cash is good. Not my model, but I'm not judging. Clay says Uber is good. I have this one lady who I Ubered and now drive for cash. I think I call Clay like he's a pimp now. He drives this lady around and gets paid like $200. Like what's going on there, man? What you doing? Clay's doing some shady business. Pimp Daddy Clay with a shady business. That's why he's sleeping with a cat at 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, Scott's out in California too. Are you a Warriors fan, Scott? Scott with all the hats. Clay says the items I sell are 90%. That would take forever. Now that is a model. You're not going to get the most money, but you'll see people at the bins doing this. A lot of flea market sellers, like they're going to pick up stuff. They're going to go to the flea market. Now their sell through is going to be faster. They're definitely leaving a lot of meat on the bone. A lot of people are scared or lazy or both to sell online. Um, that's one model. You could do what Clay's doing, like the Plato's Closet model. If you know what's in style, because you pick that stuff up for so cheap. I guess you could also do that with garage sales. To me, that's still a lot of driving around to get less than what I could, but I know it seems like it's working for Clay. Yeah, I know Clay. Yeah, Clay's trying to, and I'm trying to fill him in too. Um, and he has a lady, and obviously I'm not gonna give away his secrets, but in general, he has a lady that owns a certain type of boutique or a store that sells a certain style of clothing that he's able to source for her. See, Clay used to be my sourcer when I was doing clothing. I was paying him per piece, and he would bring me a couple hundred pieces per week. Then I would list. He made money, I made money. So kind of that same idea, but he's taking it to a lady with a brick and mortar store. And Tech talks about this a lot on his calls. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a paid sourcer. Like some of not Clay, some of Tech's sourcers for him. Well, matter of fact, all of them make 6 figures. Like there's several of them make $250,000 per year just sourcing, because they're listing 300 items per day. So that's over 2,000 items per week. And he's got several people that's their full-time job to source for him, and he pays them per piece. And so if you like to shop, that's a really good model. And obviously tech's on a very high level, but I was using that with Clay on a much smaller level. So if you like the shopping part, just find somebody in your area that sells a lot on eBay, or I guess the platform doesn't matter, and and network with them. See if because most big resellers are always looking for more inventory, so that could be a good option where you don't have to do the listing, the customer service, all that. Um, Scott said barely a Kings fans. Well, no wonder. Yeah, like if the Kings are your fan, then I get it. They used to be good back in the day, like early 2000s. Mavericks and Kings had some good series back when y'all had Weber and who else did y'all have? Gosh, it's been a while. But yeah, pretty good team in the early 2000s. But yeah, there's lots of ways to make money with reselling. I think you can make the most. I still think it's on eBay. I know Whatnot. Tech was talking about this on his Tuesday call, and Tech's on Whatnot in eBay. Like he's selling things on Whatnot that he wouldn't sell on eBay, and he'll even admit because there's not enough customer. And I don't know much about Whatnot. I know Scott sells on it, but the benefit of that is the stuff is going to sell quickly, so you're going to get fast cash. You're typically not going to make as much as you would. Even Chris said this, like Daily Refinement. Chris said on Whatnot, he's running 7 days a week because he lost his eBay store. He'll get on average $7 per piece, and these were items that were selling for 20 to 25 on eBay. So to me, it still makes more sense. Like I don't mind waiting a little bit longer to get a lot more money. Like, but you know, there are definitely different ways to do it. Oh yeah, Vladi Divac. Yep, that's right. Baby Jackson. Paige, yeah. Bobby. I think Clay remembers more about like sports back in the day than he keeps up with current stuff. But Doug Christie, yeah. Clay didn't start watching the Mavs game till 11. It ended. That's about when it ended. 11:30. It was kind of late, but obviously I was happy. And obviously thinking about reselling, so like being aware of what's going on, like the teams in the playoffs. So if I'm sourcing Mavericks hats, Warriors stuff, Warriors jerseys, Phoenix jerseys, Memphis, any of the teams in contention, that stuff will sell faster and for more money during those periods. So kind of keeping up with what's going on in culture and sports is definitely advantageous and can definitely get you more sales. I don't know, Scott. You'd have to answer that one. What are the fees on Whatnot now? On text call, they were saying that right now Whatnot is losing money. That they're being funded by VC capital, and like right now there are way more sellers per platform, right? Relatively speaking, than buyers. And like as a buyer, you can obviously get good deals because you may have an auction where you only got a handful of people in there, versus if you put that on eBay or Poshmark or something, you're getting access to millions of buyers. And I will say, like for me on my shoes, like this week, I've probably had 15 or 20 pairs of shoes sell for over $50, with a handful selling over $100. Like I would be scared to death to try to do that on Whatnot. 11%. So that's about in line with eBay's. Of course, eBay has a lot of different fee structures, and Poshmark's at 20%. So, and I think the good thing, what I've heard, and this is just because I'm not on the platform, I actually tried to sign up, and Scott knows this because they recommended it. but just like glitchy. Like they're supposed to send me the code, and the code never came. I kept requesting it, and I just like forget it. Like I need to get y'all's act together. They're definitely having growing pains. Clay said, for those watching my local store I sell to, sometimes I'm paid via PayPal, so that means I'll pay taxes, of course, and other times I'm paid in magic fairy dust, and everything comes from. Who's watching your local store? Oh, I think Clay's a little paranoid. Yeah, Clay gets a little paranoid. Nobody knows who you are, Clay. Your sourcing secrets are safe. Yeah, yeah. It's now here's the downside. I'm gonna say this is a downside for Cleveland, though he would disagree. Like sometimes I try to coordinate him, like, hey, let's go to the Nike clearance center, let's do this. But because Clay's schedule is all over the place, either that or he just doesn't want to come with me. I don't know which. Like he'll often say, yeah, let's go, and then he'll bow out. Or I think because like I don't know, the way he drives for people, things pop up. So that would drive me crazy personally. Like I like to have a set schedule. I like to know that during the week I'm done, by this between 4 till 5:30 p.m. I can work longer if I want to, but I've been stopping usually about 5 p.m. If I go sourcing, it's usually an all day sourcing deal, and I'm usually home, 6 7 p.m. Um, I prefer more. I prefer that consistency. Yeah, Clay just loves his. He loves it. Well, all right. Well, how's it? How are your sales going, Scott? We were talking earlier, and it seems like a lot of people sell. Well, I guess you're out on vacation, so it probably doesn't apply. I don't know. Mine are up and down, but I don't know how much of it is. Oh yeah, the shipping on whatnot isn't like one of the benefits. Like on the second item plus, they only pay $1 shipping. I think that's what Chris said. So that would be good, especially like on shoes. Like if I went on there and bought 10 pairs of shoes, I pay the regular shipping on one, and then the rest are just $1 extra for each. Now, somebody in our group posted a screenshot. I don't know how frequent this is, where they bought a lot of shirts from a guy on Whatnot, and then he messaged him canceling several of those orders, saying he didn't get enough, that it wasn't worth it for him to sell to the buyer, the sell, which is very shady. Like if that's the thing with an auction, like you have to be okay with selling it for whatever the auction price is, and if you don't, that's very shady. That's poor business. It's just bad business. Makes you look bad. It makes the platform look bad. And like somebody did that to me, I'd definitely report them to the platform, because that's not right. Yeah, yeah, Clay, you sound like an old cat lady. Yeah, Scott, you still on Amazon? Scott, on Whatnot, can you charge different amounts for shipping? And yeah, you are kind of sound like an old cat lady with a hush. That's funny. Oh man. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you guys got, anything going on. No, we had, like I said earlier, we haven't been doing our reseller roundtable lately. Um, I've just been cleaning shoes. Is it weird that I enjoy cleaning shoes? Because a lot of the shoe resellers really dislike cleaning shoes. It's, I guess, because I don't know. It's almost like my mind can just drift when I'm cleaning shoes, and I like seeing them go from dirty to clean. Scott says Amazon is slow, but it's his fault. Guess that question's for me. Listed 15 today. Banked 5 in the draft bank. got shoes. Back whichever way. Yeah, got shoes cleaned and ready to list tomorrow. I've got another probably 10 pair of sneakers in the washing machine getting cleaned right now that I'll probably list tomorrow. And then I've got some more back here that need to get washed. So I think I got enough to get through the weekend and then figure out sourcing. I might source some Sunday for a couple hours. There's a sale at one of my favorite thrifts. But I don't know. I know like my wife, like Claudia, she has stuff planned. Like I know tomorrow we're going to the Rangers game with some friends, and then Sunday we got a birthday party to go to. So, normally on the weekend, I like to do nothing on Sunday. That's where I use the draft bank to get listings up. And Saturday, I usually only work like half a day. But I'm going to have to get up probably early tomorrow to get these listings launched. Scott's only sending new stuff into Amazon, new and sealed. Video games. $1 extra shipping on Whatnot after the first item. Yeah, a horrible seller. Yep. Don't be that guy. Clay said, "What did you say about the boxes? Did you switch from the size Chris got you? Are you talking about for inventory?" Well, so Chris, or at least he used to, like he switched now because his sell-through is so fast now. He doesn't need as much inventory space. But he uses those big Husky shelves in the 30 by 8 by 8 box. It's like a long rectangular box. It's perfect for clothing and for shoes, to be honest. And I have a whole section where I use that because you can do an SKU number. It's basically age-based inventory. It is definitely better. But here's the thing, that those in my 10 by 30, the shelving units I used to have they're only 18 inches wide. That Husky shelf, I think it's probably 24 inches wide. And so I think if I use the Husky shelves with Chris's boxes, I won't be able to get 3 rows. So I think that will hurt me. So because of that, I've gone back to the old shelving units, and I use what is it? I think it's a 18 by 14 by 14 box. And those on average hold about 10 shoes per box. In the 5-tier shelf, I'll get 10 boxes on that. So each shelving unit holds roughly 100 pairs of shoes. And that's, I don't know, it's about 6 feet tall, probably about 3 to 4 feet, I guess long, and then 18 inches wide. And with that, I can get 3 rows in that 10 by 30. And the other good thing with shoes is that for me, that the sell through on them is faster. So I think eventually, once I get my clothing sold out, I can maybe get rid of one of my storage units. Either that or, scale up, because my store's at 5,700 items right now. But like if I had 5,700 shoes, that would be crazy. Like I think the biggest shoe seller in our group that I'm aware of is LC, and I think he has about 3,000 shoes. Obviously, shoes take up more space than clothes. You can put a lot more clothes in a box than you can shoes. Whereas, say that same 16 by 14 by 14 box, that would probably hold 20 to 25 pieces of clothing, depending on what they are. If it's jeans, it's going to be less. If it's like men's shorts, it's going to be more. So, Clay said, "Who else has a question or comment? Or is everyone sourcing selling?" Yeah, I appreciate the support, Clay. I know I'm up here like on the spot, just trying to think of things to talk about. Sourcing, like for me, I've only sourced once this week. And actually that day it's been a busy week. That week was my mom's birthday. And so I can only source for a couple hours because I had to get my listings up, and then she wanted to have dinner early, so I don't know. I probably only picked up about 60 pairs of shoes that day. Probably did that in about 2 hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours. Um, Normally, I probably go out sourcing for shoes probably twice a week. Um, I will say this, like I'm as I'm doing this more, getting back into the shoe groove, like I'm focusing more on the shoes that are selling for higher ASP, kind of like those gold. Um, like if you watch my what sold videos, like I put one out, I guess Wednesday this week, like my top 10 shoe sells. Like shoes can definitely have a higher ASP, so I'm trying to source those. And if you go to like say a traditional Goodwill, like you're going to pay up more, so you've got to like if you niche down, you really have to learn that niche so that you can find those gems that other people, because like a lot of people kind of know about sneakers, um, but a lot of people don't know about comfort shoes, casual shoes, boots. And so if you niche down and become an expert in your niche, like you're going to become a better sourcer, and you're going to find items that other people don't know are valuable. And that's kind of definitely kind of helped me. And like if I'm at a full price thrift store, let's just say the shoes are $10. I'm not going to pick up a pair of shoes that are going to sell for 20, because with fees and whatnot, it's not worth my time. Like it would have to be something selling for 30, preferably higher. But if I go on a dollar day and I find a pair of shoes for $1, say they're a pair of sandals that'll sell for 20, well, that's okay. 1 into 20 is okay. But 10 into 20, not good enough. Yeah, like flea markets. Well, Clay, you know this. Like when I was doing clothing, like I have a guy out there where I could get clothes from at the flea market. I do plan on going out there because I've seen people selling shoes. Typically, they want more for their shoes, because typically people at the flea market are they're sourcing garage sales and the bins, and then they're selling at the flea market. Obviously, a lot less than you would sell it online, but oftentimes they're selling for more, where it may more. Oftentimes, it's more than I'm comfortable paying versus like if I go to garage sales. So, but you can also make connections out there. So flea markets can be good. There's just so many options of places to source. Yeah, there. Well, obviously Chris has a great one out in California. Of course, he's in San Francisco, where he gets thousands of pieces at this point. So flea markets can allow you, if you're doing big volume. Well, even if you're not, but if you're doing big volume, you can. Like I know there was a while that every weekend I would go, and I not like Chris's volume, but I was picking up 200 to 300 pieces of clothing per week. And I was filling up the Prius with it. I could do all my sourcing in a couple of hours. That was nice. The thrifts. I don't know. Not the thrifts. The flea markets. Scott says markets, but they are definitely a cheap way to source next to the. I think it means bins and garage sales. Yeah, they're definitely valuable, and as you get bigger and your cash flow is better, then you can pay a little bit more for cost of goods, and you can definitely get a lot of inventory. Clay says, "Do you think Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers gets a discount at those?" Something to ponder. It's a Clayism there, typical Clayism. So, yeah, I don't know. It's lots of what about you? I don't know if you're still there, T-Bone. You said you do collectibles. Like, what type of collectibles, and where are you sourcing those at? I mean, it seems like estate sales could be a good place to source those collectibles. Maybe some garage sales as well. I don't know. I know Scott's a big bins person. He finds his hats. He finds a little bit of everything out there. You still selling any clothes, Scott, or did you kind of give up on that? I know for a while I had Scott selling jeans, but I don't know if he still is. Don't know. Man, I'm glad it's Friday. I say that, but I'm still going to work tomorrow and maybe source a little bit Sunday morning. I don't know. I probably got enough to get through the weekend. But if I don't, Mondays are hard because all the orders that come in over the weekend, usually there's a lot of shipping on Monday. If I don't ship on Saturday, and I haven't been shipping on Saturdays lately, I don't know. It's like I think that's the thing. Like going back to the best and worst things about reselling is figuring out what are you reselling. Um, what does your schedule look like? Like where are you sourcing? Like I think you got to put some thought into it if you want to be effective. Like if you're going to garage sales, are you mapping them out? If you're hitting thrifts, have you developed a route? Um, if you're doing storage unit auctions, right? Are you checking storage treasures daily, or are you looking at bid 13? Like you've got to kind of become organized to become efficient and really kind of plot these things out. And it's different. Like when I was selling clothing, my schedule was different because I could go to whether it was a thrift, if I went garage selling, if I went to the flea market, like I could often get all the inventory I needed at one stop or maybe two stops. So, or I was paying Clay there for a while to source for me, which allowed me to get more listings up. So that's different versus shoes, where what I'm finding for me with shoes, they're not as abundant as clothes. So I spend, especially because I'm trying to be picky and get the higher ASP and sell through. So I'm spending more time sourcing now than I did for clothing. And so I'm still trying to get my schedule ironed out. And what does that look like? And Scott, like, it seems like you, Scott, do you go to the bins every day, most days? Are they close to you? I don't know. And I know Clay, I don't, well, I know Clay doesn't source every day. Like, I don't know what Clay's schedule is. I don't think anybody knows what Clay's schedule is, but like he'll hit the bins on average probably a couple days a week, if I'm correct. And then he's pulling for his local source. He also does a lot of shopping for himself. He has a buying problem. Um, yeah. So I don't know. If you guys got any questions, throw them in the chat. I'm kind of sick of hearing myself ramble. I don't know what to chat about anymore. So I'm just going to sit here, have my beverage, look at the scrolling bar on the bottom, and feel very awkward. All right. Well, okay. I guess if no one has any questions, all right, I'm going to go to an hour. If this doesn't pick up, I'll end it at an hour. I like that nice, solid hour. At least I can say I put an hour in on my live. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to throw them out there. Hope everybody's doing all right. Hope you're having some good sales. I know I'm kind of disappointed. Like, man, there's a lot of garage sales this morning. Here, maybe I'll look to see tomorrow. What does yard sale treasure map look like for tomorrow? What do we got? Could go sourcing in the morning. Yeah, there's quite a few actually. It is May, and here in Texas, we have garage sales pretty much year round. Like today, I think I counted like 17 to 20 in my area. And usually Saturdays have more. So maybe I hit some yeah, there's quite a few. Scott Clay says I haven't sourced in 2 weeks, which seems weird, but driving more and all dad's doctor's appointments plus helping that buddy out. Yep. Scott sources 4 to 5 days a week. How long do you spend up there? Are you there in and out, or do you You spending a good amount of time out there, Scott? Curious to. I know sometimes he'll send pictures of his finds. He finds some great things out there. No, Clay, I didn't go garage selling today. I had a good amount to ship today, and I don't know. Like I was talking about that to the shoe sellers in our group, and I think they just decided maybe I'll try some garage sales on some Saturdays. I need to see if it's going to be worth my time. I know from experience, I found really good shoes for cheap at garage sales, but am I going to be able to pick up enough shoes per hour to be worth my time? And I need to test it out. I may go in the morning, but I also got to get my listings up. See, I probably should have got my listings up for tomorrow right now instead of doing this live, but I'm also trying to build up YouTube a little bit. Scott's on vacation till Sunday. Nice. We all need little breaks. If so, how many? Average cost per pair? Oh, are you talking about? Well, obviously I didn't go garage selling today. I will say when I've gone, like the cost per pair is cheaper than any place else. You just never know what you're going to find at individual garage sales. I think garage sales are amazing for everything sellers. And I found some good shoes at garage sales. I just know now, like if I go thrifting, like I can spend 3 to 4 hours and get probably 50 plus shoes, sometimes up to 100. And I'm curious what that's going to look like in a 4 hour session of garage sales. I know sometimes I've found quite a bit of shoes at garage sales, but I think when I was garage selling in the past, I was more of an everything seller. I wasn't just shoes. So if I was clothes and shoes, I know it would work for sure. But I don't want to do clothes anymore. Well, if I could ever get on the freaking platform, Scott, I might. I might. So I don't know. I don't know how the sourcing find new sellers. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I don't think I ever got signed up. Like I I talked to y'all about it. Like I signed up, and they kept saying, "All right, we've sent the verification code to your phone, my phone number. Finish it through there," and it never came through. Like I just like, oh, that was annoying. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at it again. MNJ Treasure says, I find that Thursdays and Fridays are better for garage sales in my area. Saturdays, I just waste time and gas. It's interesting how some garage sales are now starting on Thursdays. Like I've done Fridays in my experience. Fridays, like usually that's still probably the first day of the garage sale. So you're getting first dibs. So you're gonna get the best stuff. But as you get later into the garage sales, people really just want it gone. And so maybe you can get it at a better price. But I've had success on Fridays and Saturdays. I've never been on a Thursday. I guess maybe I need to start looking on Thursday garage sales too. What are you sourcing, M&J, when you're out there hitting them? About over 2 hours at the bins. Yeah, that's typically when I went to the bins. I would make one complete lap, hit everything, and then be gone. And like when I was doing clothing, I was getting like between 100 and 150 pieces in that 2 hours. So it was very, very efficient as far as time wise. Yeah, so kind of getting in there and killing it. Clay says he means just being a buyer in the audience. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, just signing up, Clay. Like, obviously, there's a technical issue getting me signed up. I wasn't even signing up as a seller, just as a buyer. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. Oh, M&J does clothing in Indiana in the heartland. Hey, what's up, Scott? Scott Eifler, my Wisconsin buddy, up there with that big warehouse selling all that stuff up in Cheddar Country. There's Tommy, you know, living high with his shoe plug that we're all envious of. He gets all these great sneakers, and he he trying to talk people out of that market. Yeah, good luck. But that's the thing. Like once if you can find a connection like that, you want to milk it. Because if you can find somebody that can supply you quantity of very profitable items, that's like hitting a gold mine. It's very hard to do. I don't know how you found them. You know, I would say like even my flea market source, which is a good source, that it's being consistent, right? If you're a good buyer, like I bought from him for several weeks in a row and then said, hey, I'm buying lots of items, you know, talked to him, befriended him, and then he's like, hey, I'm gonna give them to you at this price, which was considerably cheaper than what the other people were paying them for. So I think putting yourself out there will eventually lead to the type of deals that probably like what Tommy got. Tommy said, I made a new screen name altogether and the code finally went through. Yeah, I guess I probably need to do that new screen name and go that route. I guess I'm just being a baby about it and it annoys me. Like, I don't like it when things don't work out. You know, Clay, I don't know. See, Clay keeps trying to get hook up with Tommy, but Clay has listed 2 items this year. I'm giving Clay a hard time. I guess your contact fell through. No one buys on Cloud or Hoka. Yeah. Yeah. Tommy's got the shoe plug, the dream. Um, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have that type of source where I'm getting them super cheap. Well, I do sometimes. Well, sometimes I go on sell days. Like I've picked up a pair of Fry boots for $1. Sold them for like 150. So, you know, you got to know your thrifts, you got to know their sells, and you've got to look. But even if you're paying full price thrift, if you know your niche and your market, like I don't mind paying $10 for a pair of shoes that are going to sell for 50. Obviously, it's better if you don't. Sorry, the missus just came home. Just filling me in on what's going on. You know, daughters and movies, and maybe going to the oh, what do you call it? Gosh, my brain is fried. Um, gosh, the beer. Gosh, not tavern. I'm brain dead right now. Anyway, I figure out what's going on later. Um, Clay says, yeah, yeah. Tommy's found the gold mine. Yeah, that I mean, sometimes it's better be lucky, right? But he was at a local auction, and so that's I guess that's my takeaway. You're never going to find sources if you don't put yourself out there. Even though, as Tommy says, he got lucky, he was still at an auction. So I think it's like a numbers game. If you're out there consistently enough, then you're going to eventually run across these good sources. So good for you, Tommy. Um, I'm loving shoes, Scott. ASP's higher, sell throughs faster, not as scalable, and I can actually list from a chair. I can clean from a chair. Clothing was a lot more physical. Not like I'm digging ditches or anything. I'm not gonna be ridiculous, but you know, having to stand up for an hour and a half to photograph 50 items, have to measure them all. Um, it's tougher on the feet than listing shoes. And I don't know, it's like there's this X factor. There's something about shoes I just really enjoy. And I like looking them up. Um, I'm spending more time on pricing. I use Terapeak. Now, of course, a lot of things are ready. I've only been doing it a month. Like, I'll learn like a basic pair of Converse or Vans if they're just basic low top. Just gonna price them at $29.99. Another thing, like here's where did those go? Yeah. So be careful when you're out sourcing shoes. Like I screwed up. I saw these at the local thrift. These are youth size, but these are only like $1. The high top Converse, the Chuck Taylor All Stars, these go for good, especially in the women's size. But I picked these up for $1, and then I'm prepping them today, and I look, especially on your boots, and the zipper is broken. It's totally detached. So what was going to be a $30 or $40 sell for $1 now goes into the trash because I don't know how to fix a zipper. So always look at your shoes. I'm pretty good about that. Like when I'm going through the shoe test, I look at the bottom of the soles first. Like, look at these. These are in good shape. Those are good. Lots of nubs, as Bonafide Hustler would say. I look for the shoe size. Make sure you got the shoe size, which that one's in there. And then I usually do the bend test. Make sure there's no cracks or funky smells or tears. And I don't know why I missed this zipper. I didn't check the zipper. So on boots, most shoes don't have zippers. On boots, make sure you're checking the zipper. So I ended up having to trash that, which was kind of broke my heart for a few seconds, and then I moved on. Tommy says, that's why I put every penny in it I can. It could drop tomorrow. He baffles me weekly with stuff he acquires. Yeah. That's a good approach, Tommy. When you have that opportunity, like making the most of it, because like you said, you're aware it could dry up. I like the way you're approaching that. Clay says, American Dream listing from a chair. Another reason ISIS hates us. Okay, we're putting political stuff in here. Thanks, Clay. Yeah, it's called a fetish. Wait, what am I missing here? Listing from a chair is a fetish? I'm so confused, Scott. Oh, you're talking about shoes? Feet? Tommy, you got to give me credit for trying to get on that me. Here's the thing, though, Tommy. Like, I told Clay, like, you can't be trying to make Tommy a wholesaler when you don't even have a listing habit. Now, like me, I'm listing hundreds of shoes per week, and I'm not going to bug you. If you have a whole bunch and you want to sell wholesale, I'm more than interested, but I'm not going to beat you up on it. I think you're fortunate. You know that. I like the fact that you're working hard. I like that you put yourself out there and you found that connection. So good job, man. That's a good lesson for everybody. Yeah, clothes is a lot of work for the ASP. Still, you make a lot of money. It's very scalable, but I don't know. I was doing it because Chris in tech in the scalability, but I realized at least at this time, I don't want to have multiple employees and I don't want to try to scale it. I'd rather run a small operation with me, maybe eventually my wife, where we can make, 250, maybe up. And I think shoes is definitely possible. There's people in our group. I know 3 of them all making over 15K per month. And I know 2 of them that are doing 25K per month, just doing shoes between that 15 to 30 per day. And I know I can find them. I'm in an area where there's lots of shoes. So, and I used to do shoes a lot before I got into clothing. 2 Utes. So confused. That's the thing. If you don't keep up with the chat, you don't know what people are talking about. Did anyone know that Converse have that carpet-like patch on the bottom that allows them to import them cheaper? Clay with his random facts. Well, at one point, you were looking for others to take some and set it on your live. I know, but I think at a certain point, Clay, you got to get the hint. He's not selling his shoes. And I just think it's funny, Clay. I'm giving Clay a hard time that he wants the source so bad, but he's listed 2 items in 2022. 2 in 2022. Average listings per day, 0.000001 listings per day. I would be like, heck no, you ain't got a listing habit, son. 30 clothing items. I felt like I went through a war. It gets easier if you do it more, but I agree with you in general. Like shoes feel a lot easier than clothing. Um, I agree with that. I don't know if I quite say a war, but definitely shoes I think are easier. Now some people don't like the shoe cleaning part. That's how I feel lately. Going through the war with the clothes, Scott. I'm retired. Now, here's the thing. Like, I know if I needed to, I could always turn back on the clothing. I've still got my dedicated photography set up. I know I can still source them. Um, but I just want to try to do all shoes, and I think it's going to work. Tommy's goal is 40K a month. Once I have my processes, I just got my restaurant sinks and drying. Yeah, well, with your connection with that sourcing and the quality, yeah, you could do it. That I mean, 40K is a lot of shoes per month. Even if your ASP, I don't know, let's just use round numbers. If it was 100, which is high for pre-owned shoes, but let's just say it's 100. What is that? 400 shoes a month times 100, 4,040. Yeah, that'd be 40,000. And it's probably, I'm guessing your ASP is probably 60 to 70. So you probably would need to sell 500 to 600 shoes per month. You're looking at what? 150 shoes per week, 20 something shoes, 17 a day. Well, yeah, a lot of it's going to depend on your ASP. I know LC in our group, his ASP is $62. He's grossing like 25K a month. Now he has a low sell-through rate because he doesn't do best offers. He barely started doing promoted listings. He doesn't like he could sell a lot more if he wanted to, but he's holding out for maximum money and okay with holding out for that. And because of that high ASP, it really works for him. And for me, it's hard to figure out, like, because I still like it's a mixture of clothes, especially my older clothes I've discounted because I'm trying to move that stuff out. But because I have so many clothes in my inventory, it may take me the rest of 2022 to sell out of clothing. So my eBay store, like the clothes are slowly shrinking and the shoes are slowly expanding. But it's definitely going to be a long process before I'm a full shoe store. Clayson, this is why I sell clothes locally. 90% wouldn't sell on AV. I pay 50 cents an hour. Sell for 6 to 8. I don't pay 20. And you don't like to list. Let's be honest, because you also find polos you can sell for $20 to $30 on eBay that you get for that same price. That's way more than that $6 to $8. But you don't want to list. And there's nothing wrong with you got the sell through rate and it works for you. That's fine. But I do have to give the other side to that. Because when I source out the bins, I pick the stuff and I sell it on eBay, and I'm turning $1 into $20 or $30, and I'm okay with that setting for 90 days to get that versus getting a quick $5. But there's lots of ways you can do it, and looks like you found a way that works for you. Scott, I have somebody from eBay, a growth advisor. We meet like once a month, and I looked at the eBay quality listing report. Like for shoes, the top 10% of sellers, I think their average promoted is at 5%. So what I do is if it hasn't sold in a month after 30 days, I'm currently promoting at 6%, but I don't promote for that first month. I'm also selling manually cross listing. It only takes about 45 seconds to Poshmark. And like this week, I would say my Poshmark sales are almost even with my eBay sales. So between those two platforms, the shoes are selling pretty quickly. And so I don't want to use promoted right away because you get that newly listed bump. And with it's different than clothes. Like with shoes, there's fewer. Like if you do a search for, you name whatever shoe, there's going to be way fewer of those shoes than say if you search for Levi's 550 jeans. There's just way more. So I don't think because there's less volume that you may not have to promote as much if you have a good listing that people can find at a good price. Um, I don't know. Lots of reasons. Try flippers. I enjoy shoes more. I like the higher ASP. I like the faster sell through rate. When I pick clothing, I've never really liked selling clothing, to be honest. But I saw the model that Tech and Sports and Chris were showing and how successful it could be, where you can make a lot of money because with clothing, they're everywhere and they're cheap. Because a lot of people they don't know about clothing. So I did that, and I was semi successful at that. But I've just figured like at this point, if I can make 250K gross by myself selling shoes, at this point, I'm okay with that. And then I could then hire help or scale from there. If if I was but if I was trying to do $1 million gross with shoes, that wouldn't work because it's harder to find shoes. It's harder to find shoes than it is to clothing. And a lot of it depends on where you live. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of the reason behind. Plus, I just like shoes. Tommy says I'm at 25 to 30K between eBay and Posh currently, but really haven't had a full week of effort yet. I don't do best offer either. Never until they do immediate payment on offers, which apparently is rolling out. That's impressive. That's really good, Tommy. 25 to 30K. You're killing it. What were you doing before the shoes? And of course, I'm only asking since you're throwing your numbers out there. I'm just seems like this shoe deal has really lifted your whole game up. I'm curious, like how much it's risen since that. That's impressive. Scott's cross listing on Poshmark. Now I know in our group it's controversial. Like they don't recommend necessarily cross listing, but for me, for shoes, it makes perfect sense. I wasn't cross listing with clothing; it was just all eBay. And that was fine. But with shoes, they sell well on Poshmark. You just got to make sure you have a virtual assistant sharing your closet, and that leads to lots of sales. Clay says, "How big is your store, Tommy?" And almost all the shoes sell in what, like 2 weeks on average, if not 5 days. That's if they're selling that fast, that's crazy. Well, I would that would be hard to believe if you're pricing them at the upper end of the market with no best offer. If you're selling them within a week, that's insane. 400 listings. Wow, if you're doing 25 to 30K on 400 listings, then yeah, they have to be like selling very fast and turning over really quickly. Because that's a small store. I don't know any stores with 400 listings that are doing 25 to 30K. LC's at 25K in our group, and he has 3,000. Some of the other guys are like between 1,500 to 2,000 shoes, and they're around 20K, 15 to 20K per month. It's hard for me to get in there because I've probably got 700 shoes and 5,000 pieces of clothing. And I think in April I was right at 15K gross. Yeah. Tommy's bottleneck is listing. When you have a gold mine like that, like in my opinion, and it sounds like you're doing the right thing, getting your setup. It's like for you, honestly, Tommy, like being in Tech and Sports Group, where they teach you about efficiency and how to get fast at all these things, I think it would be well worth your time. Like your listing speed and numbers would go up, and because you have that inventory, your money would go up even more. Around 17K. Not sure if that's what we're talking gross. Oh, 20K, 22K. Yeah, that's still really healthy. You're ahead of me right now. Scott, yes, it is, but only higher end, not everything. Tommy says, but I had it down to a science. I'm nowhere near having it down with the shoe process. Yeah, and I'm still kind of in that process, to be honest. And a lot of it's more my schedule and my sourcing. I have a dedicated table. You can see it behind me where I do all my cleaning, and I've got these shoe racks that like these are loaded. These have been cleaned and prepped, and then I'll roll it over to my dedicated light box for my shoes. And then they get, after they're photographed, they go into the other rolling rack, and that gets rolled over here to the listing. I list them here, and then I will have my inventory boxes. They'll get bagged and put in here. And then each morning I take the boxes to the storage units as I'm retrieving inventory that's sold to get shipped out and put in the newly listed inventory in storage. That's kind of my process right now. Yeah, you do. Well, here's the thing. Yes and no. Shoes take up more space than clothing, but they tend to sell faster too. So yeah, they will take up more space. Like, and this, all right, and here might be the real answer. I didn't even think about this when you asked me. I looked at the numbers. Like, I really try to analyze numbers. I looked at my sell-through rate on clothing on a 90-day period, and it was 24% for 90 days. So that's about 8% per month. That's right at average for clothing. I looked at it for shoes, and it was at 54% sell-through rate on a 90-day. What's that, about 18% per month? So it was about 2.5 times faster sell-through on shoes. And then when I looked at the ASP, it was they were selling for way more. I don't have the exact numbers on this. I didn't break down the whole ASP, but probably at least double the ASP also. I was like, why am I selling clothing? And I live in an area where I think they said the DFW just became, I think we just moved into like the third, because we have so many people moving here, especially from California right now. Like in my neighborhood, like homes are just going up all over the place. So there's so many people and there's so many shoes available that I have so many thrift stores. I have so many garage sales. Sourcing is not a problem either for clothing either. But so that's kind of my thoughts on that. Tommy says, yeah, I sell more than listed. I only have 22K inventory listed and more than that. So yeah. So you got to be pricing at that sweet spot to get that fast sell. I like that, especially with it because you have so much inventory coming in. That's nice. 250 pairs per shelving unit. What type of shelving are you using? Are you using the Husky, those big metal ones, or are you using more of these plastic ones? You're using Chris's 30 by 8 by 8. Yeah. On that one, yeah, you can. That one works really well on the Husky shelves. Those long rectangular boxes, like I have a whole shelving unit filled up with those, and then you could use your chronological SKU sticker, something like this. Plug that in, and it makes the pulling part really fast when you sell something. That is a very good inventory system. It just takes did I just sell something? Sounds like a Facebook sell. Yeah, I just received a new order on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, I do also sell on Facebook Marketplace. I'm not selling shoes there currently. I have some replenishables that I sell there, and Facebook Marketplace for me is not consistent. There'll be some days I'll get several orders. There was a period last year, no, the year before around Christmas time, where I was getting hundreds of orders. It was amazing, but that's kind of died down for me. So I look at Facebook Marketplace as a bonus when I get sales there. Most of my sales are on eBay, and then Poshmark. My Poshmark sales, since I've added shoes and I'm listing those shoes on Poshmark, my Poshmark sales are picking up also. The good thing about Poshmark for shoes is shipping is only $7.62, I believe. So it's better for the customer. And I know eBay is a bigger platform than Poshmark, but eBay also sells everything. And I know Poshmark's kind of moving in that area, but Poshmark is still mostly clothing and shoes. And I'd like to see the actual numbers. I wonder if I can find that data, like the number, the traffic shoppers on shoes on Poshmark versus eBay. Last time I looked at it, it was probably 60, a little bit less than 2/3 of my sales were coming on eBay and maybe a third on Poshmark. But the other thing is when Daily Refinement got banned from eBay, which was bogus in my opinion. But anyway, when he got banned, that was the only place he was selling on. So he moved all that and he's been selling it on Whatnot. But what if you don't have a big YouTube channel and you don't have, if he hadn't already been set up, he'd have been in trouble. I do know he is going to, I don't know if he's done it, but he's in the process of reopening his Poshmark closet. And I think he's going to cherry pick his better clothing items and sell them on there, which I think is smart. And then use Whatnot for the lower priced items. Tommy says, once I'm set up, I'll move to Shopify. I think I obsess over data and processes. Drives me nuts. I know Flipping Goodies, Mike is killing it on Shopify. He's selling on Walmart, and he also sells his one-offs through Shopify, and he drives those to eBay and Facebook Marketplace and different platforms. You know, he keeps telling me I need to sign up, and I'd like to see a Shopify store. I don't know, but I guess they do because they have eBay and Facebook Marketplace. So you could, I don't know. I'd like to see a successful pre-owned shoe store on Shopify. Like once I see that model, then I'd be probably more willing to do that. But that is on my radar as well. Yeah, without a following, you aren't selling like the big boys. Yeah, like on Whatnot for sure. And here's the other thing, like they were talking about this, like a lot of people talk about Whatnot and you see the part on the camera, you think, oh, it's faster. And it is faster because the sell-through is faster, but you're not seeing the time pre-auction where you've got to organize it, get it ready. You've got to do any research that you may need. You're not seeing the time spent. Obviously, you got the time on the auction, and then you've got the time spent to ship it. It's still faster than reselling on eBay, but you're also not typically getting the same as much money as you could on eBay. Yeah, I think at this point, like I'm just not really interested. I like to stick with the platforms. Like I don't want to be stretched too thin because the more time you spend cross listing, you're getting fewer listings up because it takes time to cross list. And it takes time to delist. It doesn't take a lot of time for just two platforms, but it takes a little bit. And then you have problems of double selling and inventory. So there are definite cons to it. And if I just felt like if I was selling on all these different platforms, it just seems like a recipe for trouble. Even though I just said I have Facebook, I have Marketplace. I even used to sell on OfferUp, but at this point, those are just replenishable. So if I have an SKU, if I bought 100 watches, right, wholesale, and I could list those on all those platforms because I have multi SKU, so it's okay. It's easier to manage that inventory. But like one-offs, like shoes. Now, I guess if you're on Shopify would manage that inventory, so that might be different. But if you're manually trying to manage that inventory, that wouldn't be good. Tommy said there are some good sellers. I find most are just using it as a dumping ground for bad inventory combined with too lazy. Yeah, that's kind of what I take. And even Tech, like with his, and he's the biggest Whatnot seller already. He has an employee that does it, of course. It was his idea. They're taking inventory that hasn't sold in X amount of time from their brick and mortar store, and then they're unloading it on Whatnot to sell it quickly. So it's kind of like that same thing, dumping ground for bad inventory, or people are too lazy to list on eBay. I agree with that 100%. 100%. Clay's back. Angie called. Angie. Clay's cousin Angie. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, just like all the reselling options there are these days. There are definitely a lot. Yeah, Mike knows a lot about Shopify. He keeps trying to talk me into getting set up. I just don't know, like for used shoes, how good it would be. I don't know. I know Mike does a lot of golf club, my electronics, but his main part of his business right now is Walmart. He's selling new items and he's killing it, massive volume on Walmart. And I'm not going to talk about what he sells because that would be messed up. But um, yeah, he's killing it. And Tommy says we have it already started. Have to fix SKUs. What are you selling on there? Are you doing the shoes on Shopify, Tommy? Because if so, like I would like to see what that looks like. Because I've been waiting to see a successful. And so are you using Shopify to push out, to different marketplaces? Tommy says you can't have any symbols or hyphens or anything in the SKU, so just purely numerical, which is cool. Yep, good old SKUs. Yep, lots of ways to sell. But for right now, it's just for me. It's mostly eBay and Poshmark for the shoes, and I think I shipped out. I don't know. Of course, I'm still selling mostly clothing, but I think I shipped out 3 or 4 shoes on eBay this morning, and I think I had 5 or 6 sales on Poshmark. So I probably shipped out 10 shoes today. That's more than average for me. Like I'm still early in the process where most of my sales are still coming from clothing. I know that's where eBay is primarily sending my traffic, and it'll take a while before I get like mostly shoes traffic. Tommy says I haven't started yet. Still waiting on my setup to be complete to my liking. I can't jump in too deep and not be ready. That's a smart approach. Get everything set up before you make the leap. Clay says, in the last 2 weeks, have you bought more jewelry from your source? Nope. I am mostly going to sell out of the jewelry. There is one, and I'm not going to say it on here, but there's one subcategory within that jewelry that sells for the highest ASP. I will keep that, but that's going to be a much smaller portion of my business, and then the rest is just going to be shoes. Yeah, like behind me, I'm looking at the camera. Like you can see some Dallas Cowboys, like some face masks. Like I ordered those during the pandemic, and they sold great for a while, and now I've got hundreds of those that aren't moving. So anybody wants some Cowboys face mask, hit me up. Yeah, gosh, and that's gonna take a while, Clay. Like I've got 77 bins filled with jewelry. So yeah, that's going to take a while. And the other thing is, like when I first started selling jewelry on Poshmark, and I was buying wholesale on that stuff, like it was great, but it then became a flood. It became flooded with sellers, and the the number of sales just really went down. And I still get sales on jewelry on Poshmark, but it's not like it was a couple years ago. Um, there's just too many people with the same SKU. It's kind of with anything, all right? Like if you do retail arbitrage, like if you got too many people on the same SKU on a new item, it typically becomes a race to the bottom. Tommy says, I had a test fan mounted today to see how fast it can dry the shoes, if that speaks things up. Yeah, I know LC has, I think he's got 14 or 15 of those shoe dryers, and each one I think can hold two sets of shoes at a time. And they dry at a temperature, I think it's between 104 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit, because above that, like the heat could damage the adhesive of the glue. And it works really well for him. Like I think he has a couple of washing machines. He has a big setup, and he's always cycling through washing shoes, drying shoes, listing shoes. I mean, I'm doing that on a much scalar system. I don't have the shoe dryers. For me, I find with a fan, because I'm probably only doing like 10 a day through the washing machine, and I can wash those. Matter of fact, I got a load I need to put out to dry, and then I put a fan on them, and they dry overnight usually, and then they're ready to list the next day. Clay says, do you ever just share the jewelry? Like, I've tried different things. It's just a really, like, there's a lot of different sellers selling the same things I am. Like when I first started, there weren't. And so yeah, it's a very crowded niche on there. And then the typical ASP is lower. Yeah, I have a service that does all that. It's not Flip, but it's like Flip. Yeah, that definitely makes it more manageable. This time of year here, just set the shoes outside. Somebody did that in our group, and they got all their shoes stolen, like Air Maxes and different Nikes. I'm like, oh, that would be horrible. Yeah, I do have a patio, a covered patio. Clay, in the back. I could put them back there, but in the laundry room, I have a spot where I can put about 10 pair out at a time with a fan, and that works. I could also bring them in here, and like one of the tables is just filled with boxes and my last stack of clothing that I've never listed. I could clear that table off, and that table could be dedicated just for shoe drying. So I'm okay for right now. Try Flipper says, yeah, I started using Flip too. Waiting for them to start charging. I don't wash in washing machine anymore. It wrecks them. I pre-soak. See, I know some people do, some people don't. I think it depends on your washing machine and on the settings. So for me, I pre-treat them. Goo Gone on for marker. The grandma's is mostly what I use on the sneakers. I have a soft brush. I work that in. I put them in the laundry bag. I have a front loader. If you have an agitator, it will wreck them. In the front loader, I put on the delicate cycle under cold water. I do pre-wash and extra rinse, and it has not damaged any of my shoes. All my shoes come out looking so much better. And it's a lot easier. And I got that from LC in our group. That's how he does them. He also uses the shoe dryers. But, if they did start to come out wrecked, then I may change that. But for right now, I think the washing machine is saving me a lot of time. On the patio table. Yeah. Yeah, I can see Elvis, my dog, my basset hound, getting on that patio table, chewing up a pair of Jordans. That would not be good. Not good at all. How do you wash them? Are you asking me, Scott, or Tommy? I think I kind of explained. Yeah, I just kind of explained it, like pre-treating. Here. So, and I have magic erasers, but I just threw away the ones I used today. So I use Goo Gone. This is great. Like if you get markers on the bottom from the thrift store, this will get the marker out. Grandma's, I use LA Awesome is also good for cleaning shoes. I've got a couple of soft bristle shoe cleaning brushes. Like this one's really good. So I'll spray here. Let me see. Well, they're already in the washer, but like this pair, like if this will be mesh, like I would just spray it, and I have a towel, and then I just take the brush and work it in, lather it up. I use the magic eraser on these white midsole, and then I also spray the bottom and work this in. Probably takes 45 seconds to a minute per pair. At that point, I then put them in the laundry basket, zip them up, put them in the washing machine. Like I said, cold water, delicate cycle, and it is a front loader, so there's not going to be an agitator that's going to wreck the shoes. And they're in the laundry bag, which keeps them together. And I usually will put a towel or two, like a dirty towel or two, that I've used for cleaning. Wash them on the cold cycle. Do not dry them. That will definitely destroy them. Air dry them or use a shoe dryer. I use the fan to speed up that process. Then I use a 10-second spray on shoes that don't go through the washer. And even the ones that go through the washer, before I ship them out, I'll give them a quick spray. Makes them smell good, and also will kill any bacteria. But I don't know if you're asking me or Tommy. And here, let's see. Tommy gave his too. He says Blue Dawn and Oxy is all you need. Yeah, I have Oxy. I've soaked really dirty, especially white shoes, in Oxy. That works really well. I have brushes for my drill. No more chemicals. I used to use a drill, and I still have a drill. But man, I don't like. First of all, you have to hold it, and you have to hold it, and then like stuff was spraying everywhere. I did away with the drill. I know a lot of people use it, and I'm glad it works for them. For me, it's just I can use this a lot faster and a lot less messy. But yeah, I know a lot of people use that drill. The magic erasers do work like magic for me. I love them. Clay says the shoes I wash for myself, I just did the pillowcase, and my top loader doesn't have the pull thing in the middle. Yeah. The pillowcase, as long as you don't have that agitator, you're probably okay. Oh, it wrecks the machine? That's okay. I can write it off. I can buy a new one. That's an expense. Hasn't wrecked it yet. Yeah, I thought so, Scott. Yeah, you could go there, but like, man, I don't want to take a trip. But yeah, especially if you had a bunch of shoes, I'd wash them. I'd use a bunch of them at once. I'm just lazy. I like to do it here. And if I need to replace the washing machine down the road, that's okay. Just get a bigger one, and that could definitely be a write-off. Clay's done like 4 pairs. I don't know who you're thinking. If you're going my method or Tommy's, either way, as long as they come out clean, it's all good. Wreck the machines like Kramer did. Yeah. Destroy that one and get a big industrial. Yeah, that'll probably be like when that one ever goes out. We've had it for like 10 years. It's a pretty good size one. But yeah, I'd probably definitely get the industrial one. Whatever allows me to do this more efficiently. Yeah, you could take a whole bunch of them to the laundromat. Yeah, if you had massive quantity, it might be worth the hour it takes to wash them all at once. I wonder how you would dry 100 pair at once. You definitely have to have a setup. Like, I don't have a setup to lay out 100 shoes to dry. I could probably do 20 or 30. I don't know. I guess I could set up something outside. We are in Texas and it's already hot, so those would dry outside. But inside to dry 100 shoes, gosh, if you're using the shoe dryers, which I like that idea, that would be 50 shoe dryers, and that would be a lot. It's interesting. I like thinking about these. Like, as you scale up, like, what does that look like? It's definitely interesting to me. Let's see. Let's go on to another page. I got an offer on a cap. Oh no, very low ball. Texas State Bobcat. No, we're not going that low. A little counter. Man, sales have been slow for me today. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Yeah, well, I'm over 200 for the day, but only at 209. Let me see if I got any offers I can send to watchers or likers. 5. Like, my traffic's definitely been slow today. All right, I can send offers on 2 shoes and 2 jeans and 1 pair of shorts. So we're going to do that. Maybe we can get a sell or 2. All right. Yeah, drying is the catch always. Yeah, I think processes are so important. Like, I think you would love the group, Tommy, because we talk. I never used to be nearly as much into processes before I joined the group, and that's what we spend a lot of time talking about, processes and efficiency. That is crazy. An $1,800 day, then a $96 day, then 1,600 today, 400. Yeah, that is a big roller coaster. Who knows? It does seem to even out in the end, and I like having Poshmark to kind of balance that out. Um, I shipped out quite a few pair that sold yesterday. I don't know about today if I've had many sales. Typically on Fridays, I'll send offers to likers on Poshmark. I'll usually do that in bulk, at like a 10% on every Friday. And then every month, I don't know if I want to do it every month or every other month. Probably on the first of the month, I drop all my Poshmark prices by 10% because I do think that sell through is really important. And kind of do something similar, but on eBay, I price it and then I do tiered sales on the first of the month for the whole month. And the older the inventory is, the higher the markdown sell is. And that seems to work. Just getting that stuff out. 90-day trend. I don't panic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is important. Scott, what I know, Scott, like you sell clothes, you also have hard goods. Have you made any changes to your what you're selling, how you're selling? Um, Cash flow is king. Yeah, fast sell through is really important, especially if you're able to constantly, if you have a supply of inventory and it's a relatively high ASP, then it's okay to take a little bit less to not try to get all the money to get that cash flow to redeploy. I think that's definitely a better way to go for sure. Yeah, hard goods do make money, no doubt about it. That's the other thing. Like, I'm kind of scared if I start adding garage sales, like looking for shoes, because there's always hard goods that you can find at a garage sale that'll flip for good money. Um, like, I wonder if I might get, and I don't have the space. Like Scott has the space where he can do hard goods and clothing. Um, I don't, so I don't know the allure of hard goods for sure. Tommy says, I don't know how people have tens of thousands of listings and sell a few $100s a day. I'd rather gouge my eyes out than work that hard for low return. It's because a lot of people, they don't think about these things the way we do. They don't run, well, first of all, they don't create good listings. Or maybe they're not even listing things that are in demand. They're not structuring their titles correctly. They're not filling out the correct item specifics. They're probably pricing way above market. They're not doing offers to watchers. They're not doing a markdown sell. They're not using a daily coupon. They're not periodically going in and adjusting these listings. And they wonder why they have a giant store filled with items that aren't selling. That would be why. Scott says, hoping the close would turn money, not happen. Yeah, and that's the other thing, Scott. Like last spring, I was killing it with clothes. Like from where I was at, like I was killing it with clothes, and I think obviously there was stimulus money, the economy was good. And the other thing I think is I don't think Tech's group had grown so big. I do think that Tech and Chris's influence has created a lot of competition out there on eBay for clothing. And the listings on eBay now with all these sellers from the group is highly optimized. And a lot of people are selling it for cheaper. So I think that I don't know how you measure it, but I think that's definitely a factor. That might be another reason. Like there's way fewer shoe sellers in our group than clothing. So I was like, let me get out of this clothing. My clothing sales are way lower than they used to be. Tommy asked Scott, you watch Thrift of Life? Yeah, Thrift of Life is good. He has the manifesto. It's for free, and then he has a buy a coffee. I bought him a coffee. I don't know. I think I gave him $20, and I did download that manifesto where he goes through all the men's clothing and the sell through rate. He breaks it down by tiers. The guy really knows his clothing. So yeah, that's definitely a good channel. I agree with you, Tommy. And yeah, that is his main thing. His number one thing is high sell through rate. Like, he's not going to buy long tail clothing. He's very selective. Now, he's also not doing massive volume either. I mean, I do need to say that, but what he buys is high ASP and high sell through, and he does preach high sell through, and I agree. So it's going to depend on your model. The more items you list, you're going to have to take some of the items that aren't meeting that criteria. But it's definitely a good channel, especially if you sell men's clothing. I agree with Tommy. Yeah, the manifesto is amazing for new clothing sellers, for sure. Yeah, anybody out there that sells men's clothing, I would add that. I've seen my watchers go down. People are running over to check him out. But he's got a good channel, and he's got a manifesto that you can get for free. And then I would send him some money for it, because he put a lot of work into creating that really good document. And I think the way I used it, because I knew a fair amount of those clothing items, but I just read the whole thing and just kind of looked for brands I didn't know, and just kind of saw what he had and added that to the Rolodex. It was definitely beneficial. Dude knows his stuff. But fast sell through is definitely key. Well, thanks for coming by, Try Flippers. Have a good weekend, man. Take care of yourself, and we'll catch you on the next one. I think I'm gonna go for a few more minutes. I think at 3 minutes we'll be at 2 hours. It's funny, I was about to leave at 1 hour, then we had some people jump in, and Tommy and Scott, and then Clay for a while, kind of, and Try Flippers kind of saved the day. Because these lives are kind of rough when you're by yourself, and I don't have a big following. I am going to try to do these every Friday, and try to build my channel. I know it just takes consistency. That guy might be the next Unabomber, sounds like, with his manifesto. No, he's the next clothing guru. He knows his clothes. He knows his clothes for sure. All right. Well, it looks like it's about that time, guys. Thanks everybody for coming out. Scott, Clay, Tommy, Try Flippers, and other people that have kind of mixed in. Appreciate the support. Check out the what's his name? Golly, is the manifesto. My brain is fried. It's been a long day. Anyway, check out that guy with the manifesto. Thrift of Life. That's who he's called. If you're a clothing reseller, it's definitely good. All right, y'all have a good weekend. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace.